What we're going to install today on the 7400 machine is a Earlage feed roll lifting kit. So when you grind your corn, it's a very good idea to lift the feed rolls. Okay, we need to remove the yellow plate. Most of you have already done this several times. Sometimes these bolts can be a bugger to take loose. So we need to get us some air impact, take them loose. But we're going to remove that 2 top bolts and the 2 bottom bolts, and then the yellow plate will come off. Good idea to leave the top bolts in until you get a lifting mechanism underneath it. I am going to get the forklift in front of here and lift that off. So now that we've got the yellow plate off, it's very easily to get at where we need to get at. We're going to loosen the double nut, take the spring loose off, because we're going to probably put a new eye bolt in there to give that spring some more room to open up. This spring was missing. You sometimes see that out in the field, that the spring fell off. There's another spring here we got to take loose, and over here. So we're just going to start with this side and get a couple wrenches in there. They take a little bit of time. I'm going to carefully go in there with the forks, lifting both rollers up. You can't see the back one, but I'm going to make sure I get them both, and I'm going to put this all the way up to the top. It gives us a lot of room to work with. Basically what we want to get at is these rubber bumpers, okay, that are located underneath their feed roll stops. So this is the front one, and this is the back one. So looks like there's a cotter pin in there. Looks pretty rusty. Those nuts back here look pretty rusty, so we're going to try and see once if we can take them loose and replace them with our new rubber bumpers. It doesn't matter if they're right and left. So we're going to install that one right there. It's about 1 inch taller. And this one right back here is about 3/4 of an inch taller. So we're going to take these 2 out and put these 2 new ones in. As you can see, the Earlage one and the silage one, quite a bit different. Okay, so before you install the 2 new rubber bumpers, we have a side shield that we need to put in there before the rubbers go on. So we're going to take the bolts loose that this thing bolts onto. It'd be these 3 bolts right here. So we're going to take them loose with a 16, and they are a carriage bolt, so you shouldn't need a wrench on the inside. Now, if you have a 7400 like this, we need to upgrade you to the new bolt kit. So the new bolt kit that we have is a K7000KIT. The bolts are just a little bit longer in order to correspond with the thickness of the new plate that we're putting on. Take the plate, put it on, and I have to lift this up just a little bit more in order to get it past the gearbox. Okay, we installed our plate. The bolts run about halfway into the threads. Put a little Loctite on them. They won't come loose when you're grinding. So they are, that's the only ones we can find that are that length, but they do work. So now you install your rubber in the front and in the back. And you might have to push this one back a little bit. So this thing really protects corn leakage in here, up around here, and even protects the back one. So when the feed rolls are going up and down, and we're going to prevent them from going down too much, right? With the extra stops. There. So really does a good job protecting them. What we'll do is we'll let them down and put some nuts on there, put the cotter key back in here, and we're basically good to go. On exact same thing on the other side. So the other side, get the left-hand piece, get the 3 bolts, take the 2 rubbers out and install the 2 new rubbers in on that side. You have a grease line that's going to be in your way. You're going to take the grease line off and reinstall the grease line after everything's put back on. Okay, so after we've installed the side plates for corn to stay in the chopper, we're going to install the eye bolts that are a little bit longer because we've now set the feed rolls higher so it can, what we call it, swallowing corn easier, because just cobs are coming in the chopper, of course. So we're going to get the forklift back around and install the eye bolts through the rear feed roll through the front hole. And as I let the feed rolls down, I'm going to need an assistant to get that in. We will remove the front spring. You will not need the front spring when you grind your corn. So just put that in the machine shed, use one spring, and we'll get it hooked up here shortly. There's really, I would get them a little bit snug, you know, put a little spring pressure on them, but not a lot. So, you know, open that spring up just a little bit and then put your double nut on to basically lock it in place. So now we're going to put, being we're back down again, we're going to put the top plate on. That's also located in our kit. Got to take this bolt loose and use that bolt